All right, this is our practice exam for the practice test for Friday. All right, I don't know if I'm gonna do all 18 because some of these are really repetitive. It's almost like the exact same thing, but I'm gonna do a good sampling. This is number 1. All right. When I walk around the class and I talk to everybody, I always seem like I keep saying the same things. Break it down into simpler elements. All right. In this problem, you've got numbers, the coefficients. All right. You've got your A's and you got your B's. Treat them all one at a time. This is straight multiplication. There are no parentheses. So all you're going to do is add exponents and multiply the numbers, the coefficients, the 4 and the 3. All right. We'll do that first. 4 times 3, that's your only numbers. Okay. Notice I'm saying numbers, not exponents. These are the numbers out in front. So 4 times 3 is 12. All right, let's do the A's. You've got a to the negative 1, a to the negative 4, and a to the 4th. All right. If I do this straight, add this straight across, and I keep saying use your calculator. Negative 1 plus negative 4 is negative 5. Then if you add the last a to the 4th, you get negative 1. So for now, I'm going to put that down. A to the negative 1. Now I'm going to add my b's. B to the 3rd, b to the 4th, add the exponents, I get b to the 7th. All right, hopefully by now you know that you cannot have a negative exponent. So to finish this off, this is going to be 12. A is going to go to the bottom. All right, I can put 1 there. I won't mark it wrong if you do, because it technically is right. It's just really not good practice to put a to the 1st. It's just a. And then I bring over my b to the 7th. That's it. You're done. All right, number 2. Same as the first. You got 2 different variables, and you've got the numbers out front. First thing I'm going to do is take care of the numbers. 2 times 2 is 4. Now I'm going to take care of the v's. V to the 1st, and if it just says v, I hope you know by now, it just means v to the 1st. Times v to the 3rd, you add exponents, you get v to the 4th. All right, now I'm going to handle the u's. I've got u to the negative 3rd and u to the 4th. All right, that leaves me with a u to the 1st. Sorry, I was looking at a paper too. All right, that's my problem. I'm done. All right, there's no negative exponents, so I don't have to put any on the other side of the denominator. That's my answer. All right, number 3. All right, going straight across, you see that you got 2 different y's, 2 different x's, and a 3. So the 3 is not multiplied by anything, so I'm just going to bring it down. All right, now I'm going to take care of my x's. X to the negative 1st times x to the 4th. I add exponents, I get x to the 3rd. Y's, y to the 3rd times y to the 1st. Right? Y to the 1st gives me y to the 4th. That's it for that problem. All right, number 4. Looks like a lot of stuff here, and there is. All right, we got, but in the end, we've still just got m's, n's, and numbers. Take the numbers first. 4 times 2 is 8. Now I'm moving on to my n's. I got 3 sets of n's. 1, 2, 3, yeah. All right, I've got n to the 1st here. All right, I've got n to the 4th, and I've got n to the negative 4th. So adding those together, n to the 1st, 4th, add those together, I get 5. Add the negative 4, right? And I just get an n, a single n. You can write it like that, or you can write it n to the 1st. I don't really care. All right, now let's do the m's. M to the 3rd, and then there's an m over here. So add those together. And that, again, that's m to the first. That's going to give you m to the fourth. That's it. All right, number 5 looks a lot like number 4. All right, taking care of my numbers first. 4 times 3, that's going to give me 12. I'm going to take care of my n's next. N. All right, n to the first, all right, plus n to the fourth, times n to the fourth, which would be adding exponents, would give me n to the negative third. Then if I do this last one, I get n to the negative 2. And my m's, I've got m to the third, m to the fourth. Add those exponents, I get m to the seventh. Cleaning this up, I cannot have this negative exponent, so it'll be 12 times m to the seventh over n, and I turn the exponent positive, over n squared. All right, we got number 6 here, and I almost didn't do it, but I'm glad I did it because I wanted to talk about this zero exponent. Really, if you get down into good math practice, you handle it the same way. All right, here we got 4x to the 0, y to the negative 2 times 3x. All right, I'm going to put a 1 up here. Maybe for this test to keep things straight, you want to do that too. All right, I'm going to handle my numbers first. It's going to be 4 times 3, which is 12. I'm going to handle my x's next. All right, I'm going to add my two exponents. 0 plus 1 gives me x to the first, and y, right? Y to the negative second, all right? I could go ahead and put that down and everything. I'm just going to go ahead and fix that now. That means y goes to the bottom, and it goes from negative to a positive 2 for an exponent. All right? That's your answer there, 12x over y squared. Number 7 is a really good problem for you to see because I feel pretty confident you'll have one like these on the test. All right, if you look right here, there's a 0 power. That means everything inside the parentheses is to the 0 power. And this is really important for the test. You have to remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. Anything. So, in this case, it's everything inside the parentheses. So, everything inside of the parentheses to the 0 power is 1. So, I know all of this just equals 1. Times 2y to the fourth. Another basic math principle, anything times 1 is itself. That becomes 2y to the fourth. You're done. All right, this is number 8. And this has another 0 principle that I'm glad because I wanted to show you. Look here on the right. All right, I'm gonna do the right side first. 2a to the 0. All right, this is just the 2 times a to the 0. There's not parentheses around the 2a. So this just means the 0 applies only to the a. So a to the 0 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. All right? I hope you see, if this would have been written like this, 2a to the 0 power, everything inside of here would have just been 1. But now the way this is, it's a to the 0, that becomes 1, and you multiply it by the 2. Let me erase this so it doesn't get confusing. All right, so I've done the right side. Let's do the left side. This 4, this exponent of 4, applies to the 2. Then it applies to the a to the cube. Then it applies to b to the negative cube. All right, so let's do this one at a time. 2 to the 4th power is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. Now, since it's on the outside, I don't add exponents. Since outside of parentheses, I multiply. Okay, I multiply this 4 by this 3, and I get a to the 12th. Same way with the b, I multiply the negative 3 times the 4 that's on the outside of the parentheses, and I get negative 12. All right, I just have to clean all this up now. 16 times 2 equals 32. All right, a to the 12th, that's a positive exponent. I leave it on top. B to the negative 12, I got to fix that. I do B, drop it to the bottom, B to the 12th. A lot going on in this problem. If you didn't catch any of that, just rewatch it. All right, number 9. For my money, this is the hardest problem on this sheet. I'll probably look the sheet over and try to make sure none come this hard. There's a lot of stuff going on in this problem. All right, I see these negative exponents because I know it's going to be a fraction. I'm going to go ahead and put stuff where it's supposed to be as we go along. Look on the left side. Everything's to the negative first. All right, you can't have negative exponents. The easiest way to do that, to do this problem, is just to know that everything I can drop to the bottom, 2a squared. I can put a 1 up here, which is what it would be. All right, so everything inside the parentheses went to the bottom. And think of it, if you have to, think of it like this. Now the sign turns positive. I didn't do that. Let me erase this. I just dropped it to the bottom. All right, now I'm going to deal with the left side. All right, I've got a 2. I'm going to bring that down. I've got a to the first, anything to, a to the 0. I'm sorry, I've got a to the 0, which means anything to the 0 power is 1. All right, then I got b to the negative 14, or negative 4th, I'm sorry. All I have to do on that one is just drop b down to the bottom, and you've got b to the 4th. All right. Now I just got to clean it up. Right. 1 times 2 times 1 is going to give you 2 on top. On the bottom, you get 2 times a squared b to the 4th. And I hope you see that these cancel out. When everything cancels out of the top, the numerator, it implies you've got a 1. You need to probably, I would strongly suggest, if you've got the time, and I think most of you do, that you watch this video again. All right, number 10. This is my second. Actually, I erased the first one. I did this. I had the problem written down wrong, so I did this wrong the first time. I had it written down really different numbers than what you're looking at right now. All right. This is a big problem. I don't think this is as hard as number 9, or it doesn't have as much going on as number 9, but it's a big problem. So there's lots of stuff all over the place. Let's just jump straight into this. All right, on the left, I've got 2, I've got x to the negative 3rd, and I've got y to the negative 3rd. All of that is going to be to the 3rd power. All right, that 3rd power is going to apply to each one of these numbers. All right, 2 to the 3rd gives me 8. Then I multiply exponents for the x's and y's. So it's negative 3rd times 3rd. That's going to be x to the negative 9. Y negative 3rd times 3 is going to give me y to the negative 9 times. All right, let's go over on the other side. Okay, I've got the 2's. I got 2. I got x to the negative 2. I've got y to the 4th. All that to the negative 1. So I'm going to take this one at a time. I've got 2 to the negative 1st. All right, now I got my x's. Negative 2 times negative 1 is going to give me x to the positive 2. Negative times a negative. I really strongly suggest you use your calculator when dealing with negatives. If you're not real familiar or fluent with the fact that negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, punch it in your calculator. Your calculator's never wrong if you punch it in right. And then I got my y's. Y to the 4th, all right, and on the outside negative to the negative 1, so that's going to be y to the negative 4th. All right, let's combine these. Okay, got my numbers. All right. Actually, I'm going to just go ahead and put this on here. 8's going to go on the top because it's got a positive exponent. 2's going to go on the bottom because it's got a negative exponent. Going across, I got x to the negative 9th. And then scrolling across, I got x to the 2nd. I add those exponents. I get x to the negative 7th. Let's just go ahead and put that on the bottom. Okay, it turned positive as I put it on the bottom. Then I got y to the negative 4th plus y to the negative 9th and y to the negative 4th. That gives me y to the negative 13th. So I'm going to put that on the bottom. It was y to the negative 13. I put it to the bottom and made it positive. All right, I'm not done because I've got one last thing that happens. All right, the 8 and the 2. I can actually divide that. Both of them are divisible by 4. All right, 8 divided by 4 is 2. Oh, I screwed that up. Erase. Both of them are divisible by 2. So if I divide 8 by 2, I end up with 4. I divide 2 by 2, I get 1. And the x to the 7th, y to the 13th stays on bottom. All right, number 11. This is really short compared to the other two problems that I've just done. All right, so look on the left side. You got y to the y squared to the negative first power. This is easy. You know it's to the negative first. So I can take everything inside the parentheses and move it to the bottom and change it to a positive. It would look like this. Right? But by now you all know I don't need the parentheses and the 1. So that's what it looks like now. All right. On the left, on the right, you've got 2. That comes down. This negative 2 right here doesn't apply to the 2. There's no parentheses around everything. This negative 2 just applies to the x. So I bring down the 2. You got x to the negative 2nd. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring that down and turn it positive. And I've got y cubed. All right, all I've got to do is clean this one up. All right, on top I've got y cubed. On the bottom, I've got y squared. You know when you're dividing like this, and that's what this is division, you just subtract the exponents. Y cubed, 3 minus 2 is 1. Y to the first, I just put that on top, over top of x to the 2nd. All right, no negative exponents on this one. This will be a positive. This won't be written as a fraction. And this is pretty straightforward. This 4 on the outside is going to apply to everything on the inside. It's going to apply to the 2, the x to the 4th, the y to the 2nd, the x squared, and the y cubed. So I just take them in order. 2 to the 4th is going to give me 16. X to the 4th is going to give me x to the 16th. Y to the 2nd to the 4th, just multiply exponents. That gives me the 8th. X to the 2nd to the 4th, that's going to give me, x to the 8th. Then finally, y cubed to the 4th is going to give me y to the 12th. All right, just a little cleanup real quick. Going to have some high numbers here. All right, x to the 16th plus x to the 8th is going to give me x to the 24th. And y to the 8th times y to the 12th. You add exponents, you get y to the 20th. All right, while walking around yesterday, I noticed that a lot of people were really kind of, confused by the last 6 problems. Of all the problems there's 3 different types of problems on this page. I find number 13 through 18, the division problems, the fraction looking problems, the easiest because there's less going on. All right, the big problem with these is you've got to use your calculator when dealing with exponents. All right, so this one, I know it's going to be a fraction. Let's start with the 4 and the 3. 4 and the 3 doesn't reduce, so I just bring it over. That's my numbers. Now I'm going to do the x's. This is x to the first, all right? X to the first over top of x negative 1. When dealing with division, you subtract exponents. So this is going to be 1 minus negative 1. Minus a negative is positive, so this is going to be 1 minus negative 1. It's going to be 2, so this will be x squared. All right, moving on to the z's. Z to the second minus z cubed. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. All right, so z to the negative 1, and I can't have negative exponents. I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the bottom. Done. All right, number 14. If you look at it, it looks a little bit different than what's on your paper. What I did was I moved them around to where all the variables, the y's, the x's, the z's, were in a column above each other. On the paper, they're kind of staggered out. It's easy to make a mistake. So I always write them in order. I've got the y's over the y's, the x's over the x's, the z's over the z's. Because really, there's basically only one thing you do with variables is subtract their exponents when they're like this. So on top, let's take care of the y's. I've got y to the first over y to the negative first. So that's going to be 1 minus negative 1. So that's going to be y squared. If you don't understand that, think about that before you move on. I've got 1 minus negative 1. So that's going to be 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. All right, let's move on to the x's. 3 minus 2, that's going to just be x to the first. Then z. I got negative 1 minus 1. Okay, again, if you're not comfortable, put this in your calculator. Negative 1 minus 1 is going to give you negative 2. Z to the negative 2 becomes z to the z squared on the bottom. All right, I'm going to pick up a little speed on these. All right, 4 over 3, that doesn't reduce any. Actually, there's 3 problems on this sheet with 4s and 3s like this. All right, let's do the x's. All right, okay, I've got x to the third over x to the 0. 3 minus 0 is 3, positive 3, so that stays on top. Okay, y's, negative 4 minus 3. Again, I suggest you put that in your calculator. Y minus 4, negative 4 minus 3 is going to give you y to the negative 7th. I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the bottom with a positive 7. Z's, z to the third over z to the negative third. So that's going to be 3 minus negative 3. Minus negative 3 is going to be positive, so it's going to be z to the 6th. And that stays on top. All right, number 16, numbers, x's, y's, and z's. Take them one at a time. Numbers, 4 over 3 just comes down. X's, 0, okay, minus 4 is going to give you x to the negative 4. So I'm going to turn it positive and put it on the bottom. Okay, y's, negative 4 minus 2 is going to give you y to the negative 6. All right, I'm going to turn that positive and put it on the bottom. And finally, the z's. Negative 3 minus 3 is going to give you negative 6. So it'd be z to the negative 6. I'm going to turn that positive and put it on the bottom. All right, number 17. Actually, I guess I lied. I am going to do all the problems. All right, let's start with the numbers. 3 over 3, those cancel out. All right. X squared over x squared, those cancel out. All right. Y to the fourth over y to the fourth, those cancel out. Finally, got something I can work with the z's. 3 minus negative 4. So that's 3. That's going to be 3 plus 4. It's going to be z to the 7th. That's your answer. You're done. All right, final problem. All right, I'm going to go put a line here for the answer. Let's start with the numbers. 4 over 4, those cancel out. All right. M to the first, m to the 0. You could go ahead and turn this to a 1 on the bottom, but think about this just the way it is. 1 minus 0 is 1, so it's just going to be m to the first. All right. P to the negative cubed. There's no p's on the bottom, so that means it's just going to be p to the negative cubed. All right. Let's just go ahead and take that to the bottom, though, and cube it. That takes care of our p's. Now q's. Negative 2 minus 4 is going to give you q to the negative 6. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and put that at the bottom. Q 6. And we're done. All right. Good luck studying for this. If you've made it this far, I'm really happy that you worked this many problems. If you did this whole video, I'm sure you're going to do well on the test. I will see you on Friday. Good luck studying.